Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Slipstream ECC Week 8. I am your host, Victor VTM, and joined alongside Blue Wolf.
It's good to be back, Victor. We casted about the same time last week. It's good to be back here with you, casting some Division 4 action. I'm pretty hyped.
Very hyped you should be. Division 4 we have currently for tonight's game, of course, the first game of the day. We have Incendia Esports against ReVamp Fire. It's going to be very interesting as both teams, one of them looking to be making playoffs and one of them just trying to stay alive in Division 4. Nonetheless, roll us some stats, Blue Wolf, if you have some.
Some stats. Incendia Esports played 7 games, currently rocking a 5-2 positive record, as you said. They're a team looking to make playoffs, and at the end of the season, these are the games you've got to win. Their opponents, ReVamp Esports, Team Fire A. A lot of words, not a lot of wins. 3 wins and 5 defeats means their playoff hopes are effectively over. There are teams in the division with much worse records, which means relegation and being finishing near the bottom isn't really on the table for them. This might be a bit of a dead game here, which could lead Incendia to fire ahead and keep their playoff hopes alive here.
Thank you for the stats, Blue Wolf. That's going to be very interesting. What will happen in tonight's game? Will ReVamp somehow pull up a miracle and beat Incendia, or will Incendia just, extend their lead in Division 4 and looking forward into the playoffs, of course, which will happen in a few weeks. Of course, next week will be the last week of ECC, and then week 10 we have for all of the postponed games, I believe, and the week after that's when playoffs happens, I believe. But nonetheless, we're still waiting for the players to join the lobby. I don't know if the ECC has done this earlier in this week, but we're bringing back map rotations, which is very interesting.
Yeah, always nice to see a change of location, change of scenery, keeps things fresh in between the Rocket League action. Let's all the different sort of fans see the game, all the little jelly bean people in the stands, give them all a chance to see some high quality Rocket League action.
Very, very true. Of course, many of the maps are very beautiful. Best of 5, it's of course we have 5 maps total for if we get to see them 5 in this next series. Of course, later on in playoffs we're gonna be getting best of 7s, which is going to be 2 more, which will be added to that map rotation if we still do that in the future. But nonetheless, we have the players in, so let's get the action started.
Yeah, one last stat before we go in. You talked about games. If Incendia win this in 3, they will climb to 4th place. So a bit of motivation for them to try and make the sweep work. It's going to be the first kickoff of this game. Dayaj coming up against Fligged. Ball does go early into the blue half, so a decent start here for one team as they're looking to follow through, but they managed to clear it away. Fligged seems to be the man who's everywhere at the moment. He could be starting the first attack. The ball is eventually cleared away. So it looks like we might be seeing a second chance this time. It's going to be Team Fire A looking to start their first attack of the game. So fairly even so far.
Very even indeed, both teams, of course. This is the first game, just trying to, find the gap, just create openings, just see how the teams perform on the field, depending on how much pressure you put on them. So it's just, a bit of experiments going on the field currently, as both teams are trying to, put as much pressure and, of course, break out of that pressure.
I mean, we talked about Team Fire A not having that much to play for. That could be a double-edged sword because they might feel like they've got absolutely nothing to lose and they might give it all they've got. But it is Incendia with the shot there. Fligged, cleared away by Miter. That's a passing play that leads to a shot. Oh, the flick just about saves it from LTZ. Fligged with a touch again. This time it's blocked by Dayaj. Polar Bear comes flying in. Maybe in the higher divisions that would have gone in, but Polar Bear has missed the ball there. Allows the Incendia players to clear their lines and start a passing play of their own. Ball put a little bit ahead of Nitro. He's going to try and make the aerial. Flick towards LTZ is good. We have our opening. It's Incendia. It's what we expected. It took them 1 minute and 25 seconds to break the deadlock here.
Unfortunate pass by one of the orange players over there at the top, just sending it straight perfectly to the middle, where Nate will happily just put it in and grab the lead for Incendia. As I already speak, Fling will go for another pass. Nate goes for a shot a bit too high. Now Gaming, MITR Gaming will be trying to go for a pass. Polar Bear with a clear into the blue corner. And it's just, of course, Incendia once again, the team who has the lead, both in standings and this game. If they find this win, if they just grab this win, I believe it's a secured playoffs for them already.
I don't think that is exactly true, but it will be looking incredibly likely. They still have a game in hand, the only team in division with one of them, so they'll be able to, oh dear, Meter with a goal that I do not think should have gone in at all. It seemed like a multiple defensive mishap there. Players flying left, right and centre, none of them connecting with the ball. It's flicked to miss. I don't think Nate was prepared for it, and in the end he had to try and make an awkward save, which he was unable to do. So that might be incredibly helpful if you are a Team Fire A fan. They've disrupted the rhythm bit here and they've found an equaliser through the most unlikely of means.
Very unfortunate by the Incendia side, not finding contact on the ball to send it away, and the game is now equalized with more than 2 minutes left on the clock. A shot is there by Flick, but Polar Bear is there with a save again. An attempt is there by Incendia, but sent away by ReVamp Fire A. Flick, another shot, but blocked and sent away by Dai. Now, Mitre going for a shot a bit too high. That's dropping down. They can't find a shot on target as it's sent away. Nate a bit too close to his teammate, but none of the ReVamp Fire A players are there to capitalize on their mistake. Flick trying to find a good clear, can't do so as they're just being boxed in here by ReVamp. That's a pass into the middle. Mitre, another shot too high, and it won't go in as Flick goes for a clear, gets blocked by Dai.
Well, you're right, it's been a complete momentum shift here. That equaliser from Team Fire A has spurred them on, and they're the team with all the attacks at the moment. Flick's force on the defensive, that's a flick from oh, I thought that could have been awkward from a Dejaj. It's an incredibly difficult one. I'm going to struggle with it all series long. Hopefully it's not a long series of seeing me fail to pronounce that name. Hopefully he has a very quiet one.
Let's hope that he has a quiet one indeed, as I am the one who is currently just doing play-by-play as well, so I don't want to be shouting his name all day long. But as I speak, Nate gets a brilliant dunk on Polar Bear and will be the one who grabs the lead for Incendia. Brilliant play over here in the field.
Well, Incendia, they've caught fire there, and it's Nate from his own halfway line, hits the ball straight into the side of the net, and with a minute on the clock, you want to get that lead, and you've got to hold on to it here. They were the team that's on the defensive. Will they hold on, or will they attack and maybe find another one? We've seen how good they are on the offense so far. Maybe they could go and grab a third.
Now Mitre trying to find a pass, gets blocked by Nitro. Now they going for a pass by himself, goes for a shot. Nate tries to help him out by sending it straight down, but no one is there to take and capitalize on it. As now Nate going for a pass into the middle, that pops onto the ceiling as no one is able to read it. 30 seconds remaining of the game. What will ReVamp do?
There's a shot coming in, that's going to be dealt with by Nitro, a player we've not said much, but he's stepping up big there, double clearance. The flick on though is perfect from Polar Bear, hits the crossbar and the post, that perfect little corner, but unable to find the net, as they are still on the attack here. There's just one player defending at the moment, it's Nate. The two teammates have been shoved out of the way. Oh, that's awkward from Nate, hits it around his teammate. Is that enough? It should be. The ball should hit the ground here, and Incendia, they have taken game one.
Brilliant skill by Incendia, just showcasing what they're able to do. The dunk from his own half by Nate once again. That was just brilliant, you know, grabbing the lead, of course, for Incendia both times actually in the series, grabbing the lead for Incendia. And Incendia will be taking the game number 1, but it's going to be interesting to see how ReVamp Fire A will respond to that.
Yeah, it's interesting because ReVamp Fire A, they had one more shot than Incendia did, but the only goal they did score felt like it was a big mistake from the Incendia players, so we'll have to wait and see if they're able to actually manufacture chances legitimately through through normal play, or do they need just those slight defensive slip-ups to be able to find a way through? But for Incendia, a perfect game 1 result, this is exactly what they need. They're gunning for a sweep. They want to take that 4th position in the league, and so far they're doing so.
Without further ado, let's move to game number 2 in the beautiful Forbidden Temple. It's going to be interesting to see how the teams will react to that as we see the maps change. Because sometimes you never know, teams react differently depending on to what the map is, what the arena is. Maybe it's too vibrant for them, maybe they don't like it, so they're a bit down. But let's see how it goes. But of course, straight off the kickoff, it is Incendia who has the pressure, the early pressure shot as well by Nitro. Now Nitro is keeping the pressure up for Incendia. That's a shot blocked and sent away by Mitre. Now they trying to follow it up with a clear. He does so. Flake can't find a good touch on it as that ball is sent into Polar Bear. Polar Bear now trying to find a block on Nitro. He doesn't do so as Mitre is forced to put it into the middle. That's sent away by Nate. Now Nate waiting patiently for a shot. That's a shot on target, but Flake sends it away. Nitro with a demo on Mitre while that was happening. Now Polar Bear finds it clear, but Nitro will just send it back into Dado, unfortunately.
Wow, I thought that shot had gone in from Flake, or that shot had gone in from Fire A, but Flake just about keeps it out. That must have been millimeters away from being a goal. And if your team revamp Esports, Team Fire A, that is going to be very frustrating. Is a bit of a word soup there. So many of them going on, but not a lot going on in the game. We're still waiting for a few more quality shots. Just that one moment of madness where Fligged had to scramble the ball clear so far.
Polar Bear still keeping the pressure up. That's going to drop to the middle, but Flick sends it away into Nitro. Nitro gets a fake, gets a pass one. Will he get a pass to the last one? He does do so, but Polar Bear recovers in time to make the save as Flick gets sent and blocked away by Die. Nate is forced to pass it into the middle. Unfortunate touch by the ReVamp Fire A player. That's open for Flick. They get in the way and just forces Nate to demo him instead as Nate now blocking out a player. Flake trying to go for a shot, can't do so, gets an awkward touch as Nate now can't find contact with the ball is just rolling. Mitre finds a pass into the middle. Flake is forced to go up high and quick for it. Now Dave unfortunately pops it back into the middle. Nitro going for a double touch, will he get it? He doesn't, he just goes away from it. No one from any side are pushing that, apart from Nate here, just keeping the pressure up for Incendia.
Well, it seems like possession seems to be roughly 50-50, but the shots are only going one way. Incendia, they are peppering that net with shots, but sadly they're not able to find their way in the first half of this game too. As we head into the second, they'll be hoping to have a bit more luck. Some really good quality shots, but nothing able to find the net yet. So it looks like they have to do a bit of defending here as that flick could find its way for Polar Bear. He's sort of got a semi-touch on it. Meter with the shot off the ceiling, not quite. Nitro able to get a touch on. Polar Bear, that's just about in the corner. That looked like a really awkward one from him, but he's able to just about squeeze it in.
Polar Bear, what a shot. Getting the bump on Nate as well, I believe. Just a slight bump sending him, into the net. Just awkward for him as he finds the pop into the top bins as well. Brilliant play by Polar Bear to grab the lead for ReVamp Fire A, but that's a double whiff from the ReVamp side, but no one from Incendia is there to capitalize on it. Nitro just still keeping up the pressure and boost starving them currently. Nate having the ball, tries to flick it to one of his teammates, can't find any of them as Flake now gets a brilliant 50, but Polar Bear sends it back into the blue corner. Flake now, that's a double commit by Incendia, but Die just shoots it a bit too high. Now Nate finding the boost, gets the ball as well. Will he go for some fancy shot? He doesn't. He tries, but he can't get it past Mitre. Now Flake getting a slight touch, tries to air dribble it, doesn't have the momentum to go forward with it as Polar Bear takes the ball, flicks it over one, can't flick it over the lost defender though.
Well, it seems that Polar Bear suddenly turned into the offensive maestro here. He's conducting that attack, looking to start one here. He's taken two Incendia players out of it. The flick on, goes past the keeper of Nitro, but the ball goes sliding away from the net. It's Nate to try and save. Eventually, Flig will get the ball away, and Incendia, after all their periods of pressure, it looks like it'll be for nothing here unless they can find a shot in the dying 50 seconds. That one's going to be saved, as it actually will be Bitter to clear this one away. Try and find a second for his team. So it will be Polar Bear now. He'll be trying to dribble that one in. We've seen some great dribbles from him. That looked to be up there as he set his teammates up, but the save was just about going to come through, as they're unable to find any shots as of yet. Some decent dribbling coming out, and that is another decent hit from Meter. Hopefully that bounces kindly for him. It's flagged, he's missed it. Another miss looked likely from Nitro, but he's able to get it away as Dai and Nate go up for the 15. Nate to win it. And it looks like Nate might lose the game, though, as his team is still 1-0 down with 15 seconds on the clock.
Now, last 10 seconds on the clock. Will they find a shot on target? Flick tries to go for it, but just gets saved and sent away. Another shot by Nitro, a bit too high. The ball will drop as ReVamp Fire A takes game 2.
I'd save in the dying seconds from Polar Bear. Ice cold in his veins, able to turn that one away. And Incendia, their flame has been well and truly put out in this game too. ReVamp Fire A, they're a team that's much lower down in the league, but they did not show it there. Polar Bear leading the attack, as we said. He did a great job, scored the only goal in the game. A 1-0 victory for ReVamp Fire A, and that puts things back to square one from Incendia. The goal of going fourth in the league with a sweep is firmly out of reach now, but they'll still be gunning for that win, and they might be gutted they didn't win that one, considering they did have the lion's share of the shots.
What a response by ReVamp Fire A indeed, finding the confidence in this game, just piling up the pressure. Though there were some overcommitments now and then, just all three of them as well, just staying in net, vibing over there. But now we head into beautiful DFH Stadium. It's going to be interesting to see how Incendia will respond after that game. It was, of course, it was close. Only one goal was able to go in. Nonetheless, it's going to be an interesting one, as the players rejoin the teams that they're supposed to be. But Polar Bear, for some reason, doesn't want to join. As he now joins, we're ready to go for game number 3 in this series. 1-1 in the scoreboard currently. It's going to be an interesting one, don't you think?
Yeah, only 2 goals scored by both teams so far. Maybe it might open up here, or we might be seeing another tight affair. Only 1 goal in the last game. They'll be looking for things to be a bit more free scoring here, as it will actually be an early attack from ReVamp Fire A. They're looking to start how they ended the last one, with an early lead. Unable to find one as of yet. That's a shot that needs saving from Flig. The acrobatics able to turn that one away as Polar Bear, hero of last game, looking to open his account in this one. The pass is good. It's awkward for Meter. He's missed the ball. Looks like Polar Bear could get another hit. Instead, it's Flig to hit that one away. Day's able to try and clear.
No!
Oh! Off the crossbar from Flig.
That was so close! That shot looked like it was going in, but it unfortunately just kisses the crossbar. Oh, no. Enemy, the number 1 enemy of anyone in Rocket League. You have to hate to see that happening.
Yeah, definitely, and that's going to be an early warning sign for ReVamp Fire A. They can't get complacent. Even though they won the last game, they have to remember Incendia are an incredibly good team, and that might be a defensive mistake that could lead to a chance. It's a good passing play, and it's another shot just wide from Flig. He's setting his sights on finding the opening goal here, but unable to find one as of yet.
Nate can't find contact on the ball as Nitro is forced to make up for his teammates' mistakes. That's a pass into the middle, and Nate is perfectly positioned straight after the miss and puts it in for Incendia.
Well, Nate's the one with the points, but Nitro did all the work. The perfect pass. Nate didn't even have to move. The ball pinballs off him and pinballs Incendia into the lead. Nate has scored every single goal Incendia have scored so far. That looks unlikely to change. Flig came close a few times, but Nate, he is the master of the offense at the moment.
Now the ball gets cleared off by Nitro, but Dai will send it back into the Polar Bear. Polar Bear going for a cheeky cherry peek there, but can't find it as Flig Now can't find contact on the ball. Mitre going for a pass into the middle. Polar Bear is waiting, but Nate is just in the way and sends the ball into the orange half. Now Nate once again putting into the middle. Polar Bear can't find contact, but Mitre is there with the clear. Polar Bear with a shot! Nitro is there with a save. Now Flick can't find contact on the ball. Mitre with a soft one. Nate sending it back into the orange half. That's pretty open, but Polar Bear is back now, making the save as well. Nitro going for a shot, but can't find the back of the net.
Well, people have said a lot that we need to save the Polar Bears. This time it was a save by Polar Bear that's kept Incendia to a 1-goal lead here. They'll be looking to start something on the offense. That is cleared away though, as Nate and Polar Bear both missing aerials. The 2 goal scorers. Oh, why not Meter? You go for it as well. He misses it. That could have been an own goal there. Instead, Meter's flicked it away from his teammates. Polar Bear looking to follow in. Everything's falling apart here. Players missing the ball left, right, and centre. That one's been hit though, but Nitro able to clear it away. It's gone. It's all gone to shit.
Indeed, it's all gone to shit. But nonetheless, that's a shot by Nitro, but sent away. Oh, what a save by the Polar Bear! What is happening? Nate with another shot will finally find the back of the net for Incendia. What happened there in the orange net?
Well, it seemed like the quality just swept back into the game. A pitch perfect attack. Nitro once again turns provider, but this time Nate, he does much better than he did on the first goal. He angles it perfectly into the top of the net, beats out the 2 goalkeeping players, and Incendia, they have a 2-goal lead for the first time in this series.
That's a shot on target, but Nate will send it away, gladly saving Incendia from, losing that 2-goal deficit as Polar Bear now goes for a shot. Can't find the back of the net. Mitre gets demoed by Nate as Nate now takes the ball, takes his time as well, gets harassed as Mitre now sends the ball into the blue half, but Flick will happily take it back into the orange one. Polar Bear finding a lucky block, but can't find a clear as Die is forced without any boost to work with, try to clear it. Mitre finds the clear, but Flick is just in the way. It's just very, very interesting to see that Incendia is very aggressive this game.
Yeah, they're out for blood. They know they shouldn't have lost the previous game, and they're trying to right that wrong here. And they've done so expertly. It's a 2-goal advantage so far. And if I was to predict another team to score, I would say they would take 3. They have been the team on the attack. That could change though, as Polar Bear looked to start something. It was killed in its infancy though, and that's a shot from Flick. He's come so close this game. It feels like if anyone deserves a goal, it's him. He's only able to find the net though, and Nate is successfully back to stop the ensuing counter-attack as 30 seconds on the clock. This might be beyond Team Fire A here.
We haven't talked much about Flick either. He is the most unfortunate player in Incendia, but as I was speaking, a shot was there by ReVamp Fire A, but couldn't find the back of the net. But once again, Flick has been the most unlucky player so far by Incendia. Just having the shots are on target, it's just been sent away or either hitting the crossbar or just not going in. But nonetheless, Incendia will be taking game number 3 in this series. We move over to match point for Incendia.
Yeah, that's much more like it. Last game, it feels like it was a bit of an aberration. They've really picked themselves up here. It was a brilliant performance by Nate and Nitro. They collaborated on both the goals. Flicked as well. Had so many shots where you thought it was going to go in until the very last second, where someone came across and made an excellent save, or the ball just clipped the crossbar or the post. So ReVamp Fire A, they've got to really pick themselves up going into this game 4, as they were quite poor here compared to what they were in the last game. They had 4 shots technically on the board, but I think if you or I were asked to name them, I don't think we could.
Indeed. I mean, their defense was bizarre. The double commit that led into the second goal for Incendia was just unfortunate. The shots were there by Incendia, great work by them, of course, piling up the pressure, shooting and just, sending the ball at them. But it was just, as well, it was shocking to find out that ReVamp Fire A could not just save it and send it away. But nonetheless, it's match point for Incendia. Game number 4. ReVamp have one more game to force them into a game 5 to possibly tie this series up. Maybe even take the series. But nonetheless, The game has started.
Yeah, Dai's looking to start it strong with an aerial. Instead, it's a powerful shot. Nitro is another player who's had a good few shots. Sadly, none of them have gone in for him, and that's another one to add to the pile, as it's Nate who's the man who seems to be able to find the net for the Incendia side. This time, nowhere near that well wide. Flick from Polar Bear hits it straight into the ground, bounces it high enough to get away from Fligged, and perfect enough to set him up for the second shot. That's off the crossbar from Meter, incredibly close. That springs an offense on. That's a good bump though. Denies the chance from Flig. So pinball from both sides. Both sides having their fair share of the attacks.
That was a close one by Incendia. Just finding each other as well a lot of the times. Interesting that both sides currently have, the pressure of the shot. But as I speak, Fligged will finally find his first goal of the series.
Well, goal for his team that hasn't been scored by Nate, and it's a perfect one for him. The player who's gone so unlucky, that ball just nestles underneath the crossbar. If we were going on form, you would have expected him to have hit the crossbar, but he's kept that one inside and kept Incendia in the lead here.
I don't know about you, but I'm very happy for Flake to finally find the back of the net. Grab that lead for Incendia. Great work by Flake. A well-deserved shot there. Very powerful one as well. But Nate will just keep piling up the pressure. Like, he already showed us that Nate, he's a very consistent player. But that's another shot by Flake. Will it go in? It does go in. Flake finds his second one.
Wow, it's turned into the Flig show. A second aerial shot. This one is probably even better than the first. Clips the top side of the crossbar and slides into the net. Perfect from Flig. He wants to take his team into the playoff positions. If they win, they will go fourth, just inside. And with the game in hand, playoffs look incredibly likely for this squad if they keep playing how they're playing now. It feels like Flig has been activated. Nate is still looking pretty good, and Nitro has turned into assist man.
Yeah, ReVamp Fire A seems to be kicking themselves at the moment. This is match point, a very important game. That's a double commit, but Polar Bear will save his teammates from trouble as he sends that one into his own corner. Flick can't find it, touch as Die sends it away. Nate just takes his time, flicks it up by his teammate, but now finally sends it away into their own half. Mitre is just waiting. Now, Mitre, that's an open net, he goes for it, and he finally finds the back of the net since game number 2.
Well, he pips Nitro at the post, he finds the ball into the right side of the net, and that's somewhat of a way back here for ReVamp Fire A. There's still half of this game to go. It has been incredibly low scoring so far, so I don't know how many more goals there are in this game, but they'll be hoping there's at least one more for the ReVamp Fire A side.
Indeed, now ReVamp Fire A are already looking very good. They're closing that deficit with more than 2 minutes left on the clock. That's enough to score 2 goals. Bear in mind, Incendia, of course, they're doing great as well. Keep piling up the pressure, and of course the defense is very good as well. Sometimes they, of course, that
would have been goal of the season there. Nick got
goal
bumped and he was like spinning, and then he hit the ball the side of his wheels by accident. Oh dear, that's almost a setup. Meter's been set
no!
Up. That's you pass it to your wrong teammate. Nitro with another slight mistake sets up Meter for his second goal of the game. He's come alive here and he doesn't want this series to end. He wants to take this to game 5 and try and do a reverse sweep for ReVamp Fire.
No way, it's equalized. Unfortunately, Nitro just passes it. Whoa, that was a brilliant one as well. Great setup by Nitro there, just backflipping into the ball, sends it very high. I would not expect that if I was his teammate. That was just too powerful for me.
Yeah, definitely. That was a perfect pass by Nitro. It's just a shame it was to the team, as he and his team will try and find a way back into this one. Considering they were 2 goals up, this will definitely be a bit frustrating here. They will have at least another couple of chances in the next minute and 10 seconds. The question is how many will Team Fire A have? They want to end this now. They don't want this going to overtime. As Meter, the man of the moment, tries to put the ball back into the box. Instead, it's going to be Polar Bear with a semi-double commit. He ends up getting the touch. He's missed that second one though, so it should be an easy clearance. Fligged and Co look to spark an attack of their own. It's Day, the man who it's been a little bit quiet ever since game 1. Looking to get back into it here with a bit of offensive help.
I mean, we sort of wanted him to be quiet as well, so we don't have to say his name a lot, so we don't butcher it. Nonetheless, both teams been great so far, piling up the pressure. But as I speak, a shot is there by Die, but sent away by Flick. But Polar Bear will finally find the back of the net between the two defenders. He will just put it in smoothly for ReVamp Fire A.
Polar Bear, the ice cold killer, he kills the hope of ending this without going to overtime. Incendia, do they have the guts to end this one in 4? Take us to overtime, or will they succumb, and will we be seeing a game 5? Be a bit of a slip up here if that happens, but it could be another go for Die. Has no boost to work with, so he ends up hitting a relatively tame shot. Nitro looking to spark an attack. The ball is flicked forward. Nate's going to have to do something with this, but instead it's going to be Polar Bear to intercept. Goes for the air dribble, hits it a bit too far wide. Instead, Nitro to hit it forward. Flick should be able to get a flick on. He does, but it hits the ground before Meter has any chance to make a save.
No way, what a comeback by ReVamp Fire A. They were losing 2 goals down, 2 minutes remaining, when there was 2 minutes remaining in the game. And now they just forced Incendia, one of the top 5 teams currently in Division 4, into a game number 5. This is going to be an interesting one. I don't know what happens if they lose. Either they go down a spot or what happens.
If Incendia lose, nothing happens for them. Neither team moves. ReVamp Fire A, it's going to be perfect. They're just going to be sitting where they are at the end of the season, just comfortably. They're not going to slip any more places. Incendia still have 1 game in hand, so technically they could still make playoffs, but it's a big ask. So for Incendia, this is a must-win, and they really have to try and turn things around going into the final game of this series. We've gone the whole way. It's a game number 5. ReVamp Fire A, they're looking to fire on all cylinders. They improved a lot going into that final game, and Nitro, he's going to tease us a little more. He's going to be keeping us waiting as he's gone for a DC here, so we'll be waiting on Champions Field for our final competitor to join the server as we could get into our 5th game.
Fifth and final game, as Nitro is being subbed out for George this time. It's going to be an interesting one. They subbed out Nitro and tries out George this time. Let's see what will happen in this game. Now Flicked already keeping the pressure up for Incendia. That's a pass by Mitre, and George, the one who stops in, will strike first.
Well, that's going to be a bit frustrating if you're Meter. You're used to dealing with Nitro, the assist man, but now you've got to deal with George, and George, he's got an appetite for goals. Nitro wasn't able to find the net in his 4 games on the server. George has done so within 6 seconds. I feel like this change is more to bring George in rather than take Nitro out. He did make 1 mistake that led to a goal, but other than that, I think he's been pretty solid, and I guess the question is how much can George do here?
Indeed, now George already with the ball possession tries to go for a clear, but Polar Bear is there with a block. Flicked will send it away straight after Nate's pass. Now George finds the clear into Flicked, but Polar Bear is there with an interception. But that's an open net for George, and George will find another one in the back of the net. Brilliant shot by George.
Do you think Incendia made the right decision to sub in George?
Indeed. That was a very unfortunate pass by who was it, Polar Bear. Nonetheless, it's been very, it's a strong performance by George already.
Flick saved his own shot there. That was crazy. Did you see what happened? The ball went past 2 defenders and Flick tried to go for a bump, ended up missing and accidentally saved his own ball. That was a bit of a weird one that I think we just sort of missed.
Yeah, indeed. That was I saw it. It was very weird. But now when I speak, as we were talking about Flick's, own save, Nate will again grab a shot on target for Incendia. 3 goes up now with more than 3 minutes left on the clock.
Well, I think the substitution really has completely changed this game mentally, and Incendia, they're starting to show the gorge between the two teams. Nate getting on the score sheet, George has already found 2, and so if you're Team Fire A, you've got to try and find your feet here in this series. It's almost like a completely different game. It feels like so much more attacking, so many more goals so far, as they're looking to set into a rhythm here as Team Fire A. They can't concede more goals.
George, like him subbing in is just, he already showed he's very excited to be on the field, the amount of aggression he already showed, the speed he shows us is immense. It's immensely amazing. Like, George isn't afraid to do anything. Like, he isn't afraid to whiff, he isn't afraid to, miss the shot. He just goes for it. He doesn't care. It's just amazing to see, someone be that excited for a game.
Yeah, he's not cautious, not tentative, and maybe that's what you need when your team is just a little bit better than your opponents. You just need to go out there and just muscle them, bully them, and just take the win from their grip. And it looks like with a minute without any goals, Incendia have settled into a pattern of play where they're comfortably on top. Nate and George seem to be the two difference makers. Flig's been a bit more quiet this game. The ball will be attacking again. It's Dade to get it away. George with a chance to complete his hat-trick, hits the ball high and wide. Nate's flick on. Could set something up instead. It's Meter to flick it out wide towards Flig, who will put the ball back in the mixer. No, he won't. That's actually been pinched away. And Polar Bear with a chance to bare his fangs as the ball's hit into the centre. And it's been completely fired off the other end of the pitch from Dye. And I think we're going to have to call a pause due to the substitution not being allowed. George isn't meant to be here. I think we're going to have to take a replay with Nitro back in the driving seat.
Oh, so the substitution isn't allowed?
Yes. So we're currently watching redundant Rocket League. Yes, we are. So sorry for the pause, guys. We're going to have to quickly fire things back. We're going to have to kick George out and bring back Nitro. He's going to have to turbo boost back into the server. But at least this will be a confidence builder for the players of Incendia. They will know that they can still do it. They can still be the better team. As I think you should let them know that we're stopping now.
Yes, I will let them know we are stopping the game due to the sub not being allowed to be used. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. I remember in season 5 of ECC, the subs were allowed to be used. Nate will find another shot on target. Unfortunately, this game never happened in ECC history. We will just forget about it.
Well, you could say, Victor, though, you have the opportunity to say this is the only best of 5 ever that went 6 maps.
Indeed, the best of 5. The only best of 5 series you will ever see in Rocket League history that will go for 6 maps. As Betray will find the back of the net, but we will stop the game and leave to remake the match as the sub isn't allowed to be used.
Yeah, just gonna have to wait and see here, as I think Incendia, they'll still take a massive mental advantage from what we just saw. They were completely dominant with that final performance. Hopefully, even if they show like half of what they showed with George, then they should be able to comfortably cruise through this game 5. But for ReVamp Team Fire A, they might take confidence from the fact there'll be no more George, and they might think, oh, no George, no problem, and they did win game 4, remember, so they might be able to take game 5.
Yeah, I mean, Incendia subbing in George, of course it wasn't allowed, but possibly it built up the confidence within the roster. Of course, killing ReVamp Fire A mentally as well. They're probably tilted, finding out that, both tilted and happy at the same time that the game isn't, allowed and will be replayed, but also a bit tilted that George was just, piling up the pressure, and us letting the game being played, but we're gonna replay it, so it's all good. It's going to be interesting to see how ReVamp responds to this whole incident, though. And it's going to be interesting to see how the board of directors will respond to this incident as well, as I believe a punishment might happen.
Well, I think it's not really fair to speculate at the moment. I suppose if it had been ReVamp who stopped in, it wouldn't have mattered at all, considering their season is over once this game is fully played, and they're not really out of threat of relegation or promotion. So it's basically, it's mainly more important for Incendia, considering they still have things on the line, and we will be getting into game. Are we going to call it Game 6 or Game 5? I think we should call it Game 6 just because it's funny. 2-2 the
Yep,
score.
Game 6, the final game, the real final game of this best of 5. Game number 6. Game 5, had to be replayed, but now we're on with the real one, the real action. Let's see what will happen. One of these teams will go home with a win, and already it is Incendia with the early pressure. Nate backwards, go for a shot, but Nitro is there home, saving the shot by one of the Fire A players. Now Flake goes for a shot off his own. Polar Bear is just in the way and will send it into his own corner. Die, can't find contact on the ball, so can Nate. Flake gets it past one, but a bit too high. That's a shot by Nitro on target, and Incendia will take the lead.
Wow, Nitro, they're glad to have him back. He's scored a perfect goal right into the corner. Made her almost with the save, but I have some special news. The voice in my ear has let us know that the reason the substitution wasn't allowed is because ReVamp Esports, Team Fire A, do not have a substitute of their own, so it's ruled to be unfair on them, considering they're not able to make a substitution, whereas the players on Incendia are able to. As Nitro, he's made 2 saves and scored a goal here. He's clearly trying to stake his claim and show that he should be the player who's starting every game for Incendia. He's done pretty well here.
Now Nate taking the ball possession, flicks it past 2. That's one more last defender, but Die will find the clear, but Nitro already aggressively into the orange half. Gets a pass to the middle, Flick with a shot as Polar Bear, quick to react, sends it away as Nate keeps the pressure up now. Polar Bear finds the touch into the middle. Flick is there waiting for his prey, but Mitre now happily sends it away, but Nitro keeps it in the box. Die finally gets a clear, leaving some fresh air for his teammates to breathe in. Nitro can't find contact on the ball. Nate pops it over Polar Bear, and no one from their own side will go and try to capitalize on it.
Well, this feels like a sort of replay of the game before, excuse the pun, as it seems Incendia, they're the team with complete dominance here, but it is just 1 goal advantage, and we saw Team Fire A come back down from 2 goals. This is a 2-goal one as well. They're going to have to repeat their heroics of game number 3, as it is a 2-0 advantage. It's Nitro with the brace, and wow, it's the Nitro show now.
Oh, brilliantly displayed by Nitro, proving his worth to everyone. He is the one who should be in the main roster. He's just saying that right now to himself and probably to his teammates. Look at me, I am worth it. Put me up there with you guys. And of course, on the earlier note, the penalty for Incendia won't happen as the game is being replayed. But as I speak, Nitro once again just confirms that he should be in the main roster.
Well, I think there's been some sort of penalty inflicted on Team Fire A, and that's the fact Nitro has just scored a hat-trick against them in 2.5 minutes. He's found 3 goals. Excellent performance from him, and it looks like after a quiet first 4 games, and he hadn't scored in the first 4 games, he finds 3 of his own in game number 6 is flagged. Be looking to add to that tally, and this looks a bit beyond Team Fire A here.
Brilliant clear by Polar Bear there, sends it straight into the blue corner, but Flake is already there waiting for it. Tries to find one of his teammates, can't do so. Nate now finally finds a clear into the orange half. Polar Bear with an unfortunate touch. Nate is there with a shot, and it will just roll in. 4 goals up with more than 2 minutes left on the clock.
This has been such a low-scoring series. This final game is quite a surprise. Complete dominance being shown by Incendia. This is what I expected going in. It only took us to Game 6 to finally see it, but it seems Incendia, they're going to sweep past the Fireboys here. And they'll be feeling a little bit disappointed considering they had such a strong showing earlier on. They might have a consolation here as Meter's shot is saved by Flig. The flick from Flig will find the net, and that's 5-0 the score. Flig's on the score sheet. Everyone now from Incendia now is.
I guess they are pretty tilted after the last game, game number 5, as me and Blue Wolf loves to call it now, since this is the only game 6 you will ever see in a best of 5 series in ECC history, hopefully. If there's gonna be another one, then God knows. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see how ReVamp responds. 5 goals down, they're probably already a bit depressed, but nonetheless, they're just going for constellation goals now. Bomb is there by Dive, and a shot is just sent away. Again, Nitro sends away Betray's shot. Nate now trying to go for a pop over the 2 defenders, but Dai is there with a brilliant save as Nitro keeps the ball into the hole. Mitre with a pass to Dai with a shot, but Nate makes it in time to keep that clean scoreline.
Yeah, 1 minute on the clock. This looks a bit beyond Team Fire right now as the attacks are still coming in for Incendia. They have not stopped ever since the whistle blew on this game number 6. That could be awkward though. A double commit on the defense isn't going to go punished. The third man is back to make the final save. That was Nitro. The flick across, Flig is ready, and Nitro is looking to score a 4th one here as he's going to be leading the attack. Oh, that could have been a major defensive error. Flig's shot just about wide. Nate isn't going to have that problem as he's hit home his 2nd and the 6th for Incendia.
Brilliant display. The Flig getting it, trying to put it in, puts it a bit too wide, but Nitro was already at the left side, puts it back into the middle where Nate was, and he will happily snatch that 6th goal for Incendia, as that, of course, already was a nail on the coffin as Team ReVamp Esports Team Fire A isn't looking pleased about this series. Nonetheless, we go into the last 20 seconds of the game, of the series as well. Game number 6.
Yeah, a question's going to be asked. FC Netlead, they're going to not take any delight in seeing this happen as they're going to slip below Incendia in the leaderboard. 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. It will be over very shortly. Team Fire A, their pain will be ended. Incendia with the mercy killing in game number 6. 6-0 the score. Perfect final performance, especially from Nitro with those 3 goals.
Incendia will be the ones who grabbed this first series, brilliantly displayed by them over here. They win in the game number 6 in this best of 5 series. Incredible to think that we have a 6th game in a best of 5 series, Blue Wolf.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably the craziest thing about it. It was pretty orthodox going through the first 4 games, and then the final 2 games provided a fair bit of excitement. Personally, I think just purely based on that final game performance, I would say Nitro was my MVP. He did some great assist work towards the games that Incendia won, but who would you say is your personal pick for the best player?
Oh, the best player, it's tough, honestly. But I would have to give it to Nate. He has been the one who's been, helping Incendia a lot throughout this series, keeping the pressure up. He's been the one who's been with the most consistent hits as well, getting the shots and saves that you need to get when, there was this one instance where he was lost back as well. A shot was very high, but he went for it and got the save as well, which it's very rare to see in the ranks in Division 4. Usually you see them either backflip and whiff or not even go for it and just leaving it, trying to catch it. But in this case, Nate just went for it and got it, put it into the corner. So Nate is my personal choice for the MVP of the series. But what do you people at home pick? Who is your MVP of the series? Doesn't matter Actually, it doesn't matter. Never mind. Who is your MVP out of Incendia Esports? I was about to say in a revamp as well, but you know that wouldn't be fair as Incendia are the ones who won the series.
Yeah, I think that might just lead us into a break, but don't go anywhere. Still 2 games. The night is still young. Next up in about 10 minutes, we've got the Vortex League. It's going to be Damage Incorporated. They're going to be taking on Ignite Esports. We'll both be jumping off for that one, but then I'll be coming back at 9 o'clock, or at 10 o'clock, sorry, CET for RC Saturn versus Wookiee Esports in Division 1. Conference number 2. I hope you guys stick around until then. I'll see you all again in an hour. And thanks for watching this one with me and Victor.